For many motorsports enthusiasts, the cold winter months are a time to relax, recharge, and take a step away from racing for a while. But not all take this time off. Some are busy honing their skills, still in fierce competition with one another, even with feet of snow on the ground and freezing temperatures. Many drivers from the Washington, D.C. region SCCA have turned to iRacing to keep their skills sharp, or just to have a little fun. Tonight we begin a new season in a new calendar year, giving new purpose and new opportunity in the modern Roaring 20s. Over 40 competitors are here at their home track in Summit Point Motorsports Park in Virginia in the Skip Barber Formula 2000. An intro vehicle to some, it takes quite a bit of dedication and skill to extract every tenth out of this lightweight open wheeler, and even more to avoid conflict on a busy track. Tonight, SimTV brings you a new season of sim racing action, and it all begins now. If you're interested in the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League, or if you want to sign up for real-world HPDE and high-performance driving events, head to WDCR SCCA.org. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Harrier, joined by Finian DeCuna tonight for a new season of action, this time, Finian, with an open wheel car, something we don't get to do a whole lot of here on SimTV.
Yeah, and it's even more special than just doing an open wheel car. Obviously, we do a few IndyCar series here and there, so we're used to that. Really, nothing else besides those cars, but we're here with the Skip Barber car, which also has the new damage model, which is only being released on this car and the Formula 3 car. So not only do these guys have to deal with the whole tire model, which we've talked about several times on the channel for several different races, you also got to deal with the new damage model racing against that, because that's an interesting thing, because you don't have to just avoid cars, you have to avoid debris.
Yeah, so parts and pieces can now fall off the cars, they can damage your car. Also, the new damage model makes crashing significantly more of a penalty. In the past, you might bend a suspension, your steering wheel might be off. Now, the cars will literally be undrivable if you get into a severe accident, and it's a lot more realistic damage. And I'm sure with 46 drivers signed up for this event, we'll get an opportunity to check it out tonight.
Yeah, I think we also might see some guys disconnect from their sim just crashing, with potentially several guys crashing in front of them with a massive field. And these cars are also redone graphically too, so it's going to even put more strain. We just can't stress enough too, putting 40 some odd cars at Summit Point.
This is not that big of a track, and actually let's get into that now. Let's take a look at our track map for tonight's event. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the main circuit tonight, 2 miles of pavement that we're going to work with tonight. And we're going to head down the front straightaway down towards turn number 1, Finian. 5th gear, high speed, drafting, probably your best passing opportunity down here into turn 1. They're going to curl around for turn number 2 and set yourself up for a little bit of a straightaway that heads over to turn number 3.
Yeah, and then once you get through turn 3, you can feel free to dip a wheel off if you wish, but 9 out of 10 drivers would not recommend doing that. And then down into turns 4 and 5, and this is going to be interesting going down into there. It's an interesting braking zone because you're not only turning into braking, but you also got to pretty much navigate a hairpin and a twisty section up ahead.
Yeah, setting up the car for the turn 5 braking zone, then swinging back to driver's left for turn number 6, 7, and 8. This complex is very tight and narrow. This racetrack is a challenge in some higher horsepower cars, but plenty of racetrack here tonight for these cars. 7, 8, and 9 leads you into another short straightaway, sets you up for turn number 10, a fast 4th gear, maybe 3rd gear if you're in traffic, slower corner that leads you onto the front straightaway again. Again, this is a relatively high-speed track with the exception of that middle sector through 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to see a lot of high speeds today, and especially when the track narrows up in the turn 5 area, going to get really dicey with these open wheels. So that was a look at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Let's head down to the racetrack. Qualifying is underway. Single car qualifying. You get 3 laps to get a time in here, Finian. And the new driver in here tonight is Paul Gibson, driving the number 31 Pennzoil machine this evening. He is an autocrosser out of the Indianapolis area, and I've heard so far that he is extraordinarily skilled and currently sitting on provisional pole.
Yeah, and he's up 2 tenths over Kevin Zhu. Second, and then Kevin Seal, Paul Darling, DJ Allison during the rest of your top 5 as they run still with a few minutes left in qualifying.
So we've seen times in practice down in the 20s with draft, although in qualifying I don't think we're going to pretty much break a mid-21, but as Gibson comes along through, it looks like DJ Alessandrini has gone a little bit quicker, and this guy is so talented. He's won pretty much everything there is to win on SimTV at the very least. The 2019, the inaugural Spec MX5 Sim Racing Challenge champion, so he's got a lot of accolades as well, but Paul Gibson jumps right on top. It's going to be a heavyweight challenge between these two tonight, and Stevie Ray in the 111, a new driver here this evening for the championship. He's going to be pretty hard to beat as well, starting in the top 3. There's Kevin Zhu, the 243 car runs 4th, and Ken Seal, always a competitor with DJ, running 5th right now.
Digging that Star Wars green scheme on the 23, currently in 5th as he's coming through the final sector of the track. We'll see if he can beat his competitors, especially Alessandrini. We definitely know that Alcil and Alessandrini have been going back and forth through several different series.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the cameras that Finian set up for us tonight. Right front suspension cam. This is going to be quite an interesting perspective, especially heading down into turns 5, 6, and 7. We're going to be right up against the curb. Going to watch the suspension go to work tonight. And the key is to keep it out of everyone else's suspension so that you don't have any issues. So Alcil is going to back off, and he's gone quickest at 121.3.
Yeah, up on pole. We'll see if Alessandrini can respond. He's still out there putting a lap. I think this will be his final attempt as he comes out of the final corner and across the line. What's it going to be?
And it's going to be a 21.303. Yes, good enough for pole by 42 thousandths of a second. Larry McLeod out on course in a very silver, it almost looks like a Coke can that's been had the label stripped off it. Rolling through turn 3 right now, a little bit wide. That's going to be an off track. That lap will not count.
Yeah, that's the troublesome thing. You can do it a lot in the race, but you can't do it in qualifying. Otherwise, your time is going to be invalidated. And we'll see if he does have another lap left to jump up a few positions. But still, starting 7th out of, I think, what, 45, 46 guys? Pretty good.
I think we actually have 47 now. One other driver's jumped in here. So Arthur Mitchell, I believe, in the number 40. So there's a lot of cars in here. So qualifying going to be extraordinarily important tonight. And you can tell, well, as you see, that is the 40 going around and into the fence. And you see, there is the damage that we're talking about. And wiggling and wobbling there on the 40 as he comes to a stop. So I was talking about Paul Darling, though. Here's a driver that is very talented. Won the SCCA's Spec Racer Ford Championship that was run in 2019. We know he's good. He's only P10. That is how competitive the field is here tonight. Do you have any ideas on who you think is going to take this one? Because I don't know if it's just the easy answer, which would have been DJ Alessandrini in seasons past. Yeah. Who else is going to be up and competitive then?
I mean, honestly, I would say DJ, Ken, and Paul. I think we've seen them, all three of them, go at it at some point or another. All three of them kind of in that mix, although Darling a little bit further down the order than he would probably like. Still has enough time to get back around to complete his run, and he's only 9,000 behind Rich DeMarco, who's right ahead of him ninth. I'm definitely expecting to see Paul Gibson out of the speed of his car. He's definitely got the pace to stick up there with Alcil and Alessandrini, so I think probably that group of 3, 1, 2, and 3 on the list will probably be the main competitors for tonight.
This car is so heavily momentum based. It's all about carrying speed. It doesn't have a whole lot of power, but it's not necessarily slow in a straight line, especially in the draft, which is basically all powerful. I'd be surprised if we had a leader completely get away tonight. The field is so close. We've got, looks like, wow, how many drivers do we have? 20 drivers within 1 second of each other, Finian, and 8 drivers within a half a second at the top of the grid. So there's a lot of competitive race car drivers in here. I don't know if anybody's going to pull away, but how about Alan Claffey working his qualifying effort right now? P37, a long night ahead of some drivers towards the tail of the field.
Yeah, and I think for them it's just a matter of staying out of trouble, because you're pretty much going to be facing a lot of it as guys are wrecking and the debris flying, and also on the track. Again, you can't stress enough, you cannot hit that. You will damage your own car if you do. They're going to have to avoid all the carnage.
Turn 1 is likely going to be a graveyard tonight. We talk about the challenge of just keeping out of trouble. This event is only 15 minutes long. We'll have a race number 2 after this. So if you're starting 30th or even, 40th, how aggressive are you, or is it worth being aggressive this early in the season, this early in the night? Are you going to wait for people to make a mistake, or are you going to try to get by them before they do?
I think it really depends on, if there are some fast guys back there that just didn't really get a good qualifying, and they're the guys that feel more confident. I think they might take a few more chances than some of the other guys that are just trying to move the way up the field normally. So we'll have to see here. You got to imagine with 47 cars, at least 2 of them are going to make contact at some point in the first lap.
Yeah, here's a look at our track conditions for tonight. 77 degrees in the air. How about 99 on the racetrack? It's not necessarily a cool temperature. It's also not that hot either. So I think it's pretty moderate temperatures. We've seen the cars have a decent amount of grip, but the cold tires of the opening lap is going to be what we're going to be talking about for at least a little while. So we're going to have a pace lap. We'll turn them loose, set them green in a little while. But taking a look from high above this racetrack, there's going to be a lot of the field starting all the way in turn number 10. There's Travis Skeel, and he's starting 40th. Let's take a look at what he's going to see here. There's a lot of cars in front of him, Finian.
Yep, and waiting for the pace car to get on their way, so all 40 of these guys can get away pacing.
And one last look at our racetrack for tonight. Just under 2 miles, 10 turns around here, and really the first and last sectors are incredibly fast, but that middle sector, 5 through 8, Very slow, and you're trying to get that thing tucked down to the apex, get on the curb a little bit, help the car rotate.
And that's also, I think, going down into turn 5 where we could see a lot of accidents happen. I think that's where probably some of the most accidents occur on this track is at that particular corner with guys trying to outbrake each other. And it's a tricky braking zone in this car, and you know, again, I could expect some carnage.
So, lining up for the start, waiting on a few more drivers to join the grid here. But look, that is probably, this is one of the largest races that we've ever done. I know 46 is got to be at least the third largest grid I think we've ever done. I think we've only been above 50 twice, 2 or 3 times it was with Grid Life, with the Porsche Cup cars. So field's going to roll off for one pace lap around Summit Point Motorsports Park. And it's going to be about a full minute before the tail of the field even gets rolling. So let's roll through our starting lineup. I don't know if we're going to have time to get through it all, but let's get started on the front row tonight. DJ Alessandrini, the Grid Life competitor from Ohio, rolls off on pole alongside Ken House-Seal, a autocrosser, and he's from Pennsylvania, rolling off the number 23.
And moving on back, we also expect Paul Gibson to be a big name that'll be up there with these guys tonight, starting the 31 on the inside next to him. Stevie Ray in the 111 from Texas in 4th.
In 5th place, the return of Kyle Herbst from Ohio in his number 89 alongside Kevin Zhu, the 243, rolls off 6th.
Back in row number 4 in 7th place, got Larry McLeod in the 35 from Michigan, and next to him in 8th, Lex Karashek in the 27 from New York.
In row number 5, 9th place, Rich DeMarco in the number 461 from Pennsylvania, Paul Darling. He's won some SCCA-related things before. Can he do it again tonight? Rolls off 10th in his 155.
Right in behind are Richard Spicer in the 33 from the Atlantic in 11th. Next to him in 12th, Michael Shea in the 78 from Pennsylvania.
Row number 7, 13th place, Max King, New Jersey, number 47. Dennis Barrett on the outside of the 7th row in 14th position, and that'll be the car number 6.
Back in 15, Michael Monahan. Sorry.
We're working on that.
Michael Monahan in the 05 from the Virginias. Next to him, Andrew Chow in the 30. Already
trouble in the back. Big mess on the pace lap.
Yeah.
Car's blown up and stopped. And what happened here? Ryan Christoph slow. I think he's jumped off the racetrack. Travis Skeel's been involved in it. I don't know what happened there, Finian, but on the pace lap, we had a whole bunch of cars get checked up and crash.
Well, we're going to be missing a few guys at the start of this, so the rest of the field is coming out of the final few turns and getting ready to go.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to go back and look at that post-race. I didn't really see how that started, but we don't have time to go over it now as the field rolls through turn number 9 and heads down to 10. So we've lost at least 4 or 5 cars to that. Shane Daggett, one of them, Alec Meisel, David Graver, Ryan Christoph, and I think another one involved in that. So big portion of the field missing from the rear end, but time to go racing regardless. The Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League is going to turn them loose for a new season here at Summit Point Motorsports Park. A home track for many. Time to bring the green. DJ Alessandrini in control of the field. 15 minutes on the board. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Summit Point Motorsports Park already. A car around towards the back of the field. Parts scattering. Everyone scattering to try to miss it as we head down to turn 1.
Yeah, and everyone racing down into turn 1. We already had a wreck before the line. Oh boy, we're going to have something down into turn 1. Already 3 wide. Some guys midfield.
There we go. Cars up and in the lead. DJ Alessandrini gets turned, and he's out as well as the drivers that we were going to be paying attention to. Paul Gibson, that's terminal damage on this car.
He's got the park at their rear wheel disconnected. It's trying to roll, but he's pretty much driving with 3 wheels.
Oh man, that car is destroyed. DJ Alessandrini, I don't know if he's completely wrecked, but that car is all the way at the tail of the field now, down in 35th place. Drama at the start of this one. Kyle Herbst has the lead, is going to try to drive away. Meanwhile, behind him, Rich DeMarco and Larry McLeod, Kevin Zhu, Kuracek all fighting for a top 5 position at the moment. That was a frantic start and dramatic. There was a wreck kind of in the mid-pack, and it made its way all the way up to the front. Chain reaction.
Yeah, you can already see that wreck really spread out the field for the most part. Still a lot of chaos going on at the front. Guys still duking out for position.
So the question is, you know, I think that's definitely going to be terminal for at least the driver. Who's the name I was trying to look for? I think he's already pulled off the racetrack. But DJ, I think DJ's all right, but we'll see how it fares as we move on to the rest of the race. There's Richard Spicer right behind Paul Darling, and coming across the line for lap number 1, it's going to be Kyle Herbst at the top of the board.
Yeah, you already see him trying to sneak down the front straightaway to break up the draft. Good up battle going on for, I think, around 5th place.
And there's Lex Kuracek and a couple more drivers. Battling behind them, Kurchek in the black number 27 locks up deep on the brakes, going to miss the corner and slides off down in turn number 1. And that time I think we avoided casualties there.
Ooh, in the corner with the lock up.
Sarah, and there's Bob Shoemaker going out wide in turn 1.
Shoemaker had some damage to his rear wing, see there.
Yeah, I'm sure that, you know, the dirt being all over is not helping conditions down in turn number 1 at the moment. Some more battling the 92 of Don Manning's got Travis Skeel, and there's DJ Alessandrini, who started on pole, and right now still stuck in 26th. Oh, contact there. The 46 gets shoved a little bit wide. And Alessandrini, kind of an opportunistic move up the inside, had the tires in the grass, still going to go for the opportunity down into 5. Crossover, no. Behind them, more drama.
Oh, and a car hard into the wall.
It's Nick Babin. And I think also Paul Gibson has also pulled his car off, so he's retired. As Kyle Herbst continues to lead this race, 12 minutes left, and I did not expect that it would be this wild at the start of this.
Yeah, it really was. That beginning wreck took out a lot of guys early on. It really shook up the order of this. And Darling, who had quite a bit of traffic to work through to get to the front, a lot of it got cleared out lap 1. He's currently racing for 3rd, side by side with Kevin Zhu.
Down into the turn 1 braking zone. Darling's been so good on the brakes. Avoid the lockup. The tires are coming up to temperature now, so it should help that condition. Behind them, a little bit of a lockup for the 33 car. That's driven by Richard Spicer. Max King goes a touch wide in his 47, right behind Rich DeMarco.
Yeah, these guys still trying to sort themselves out as they get towards turn 3. Some guys having looks.
Riding on board with King as we head through turn 3. You can see how much lateral slide these cars have. You kind of have to drive them like that, Finian, to be fast and aggressive. You got to throw the car in. Whoa, opportunistic move. No place to go. DeMarco holds his line. Onto the brakes. Turned out of the apex for 5. And in behind is the 23. Ken Ausil, some slight damage to the right front wing of that car. Of course, these things don't make a whole lot of downforce, so I can't imagine that's affecting them a ton, but I guess we'll see as the night continues.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything would affect them the most, being right behind a guy, but the car looks relatively unaffected. It must be the way he's driving, but he's going to have a look up the inside now of the 47 of King.
And tuck back in line, maybe get him on the straightaway. Seems like a smart idea to me. Paul Darling has caught Larry McLeod, has got some cars returning from the pit lane back onto the racetrack, so Herbst has a 1.1 second lead for 2nd place now. Paul Darling and McLeod going to trade spots. McLeod in that silver number 35. Darling in the yellow and black 155.
So there's a lap car up ahead of them. It's the 37 car.
Darling from 10th to 2nd. He just ran 7 tenths quicker than Herbst last time by, as we're 3 wide with a lap car heading up towards turn 3.
And Darling going to clear for 2nd place, and now set his sights on Kyle Herbst. He's got just over 10 minutes to get the job done. It
looks like Bob Casera's gone around in turn number 1, so that corner's been calamity corner tonight. And it doesn't look like a whole lot of damage, but there is some damage to his rear wing, so I wonder if he got clipped. Oh, maybe about from the 42. No? Oh, wow. Got hit from the inside, bounce him up in the air, but he'll be able to continue. Doesn't look like significant damage. Behind him, David Alessi and Arthur Mitchell. This is for 25th. Oh, and there goes the nose off the Christopher. Oh, no, it wasn't Christopher Spiller. Who was that? The green car. The 24. Being driven by Mark Labence. Nose just got torn off that car as we've got a battle for the lead. Herbst, McLeod, and where has Paul Darling gone?
Oh, he's back in 8th place. Something happened.
Sure did.
As he's dropped out of the lead. Car still can find though, so it must have just been an off track.
Yeah, so what happened to Darling is... Take a look. Oh, when it went wide in turn 5, here's a quick look at it. So it's coming down into the braking zone, already way off balance, and then just clips the grass on the right and drives off into the dirt. But he's recovered. He's now down in 8th, but behind a big gaggle of cars. Ausil locks him up, trying to avoid a collision.
Yeah, Ausil's still trying to recover from that frantic start. And now him and Darling are about to go at it. I think Darling's probably got the faster car between them at the moment.
You see the 47, Max King on the inside of DeMarco. They're going to go side by side through 3. That's not an easy place to make that move. And Ausil stuck in behind. He's going to take a look, maybe 3 wide. Here they go down in turn 4.
Yeah, I gotta imagine someone's got to give here in turn 4.
Oh, man.
And not really many do. Now into the braking zone, hard braking zone. We saw Darling make a mistake earlier. He's going to keep it clean this time.
Great racing here for about 5th spot, and right in front of these drivers, and I believe it's a lap car. As they continue their duking and diving, look at Darling slide on by Max King through turn 7. And crossover, DeMarco all out of balance. Houseal up the inside, gets his nose chopped off. He wants that spot so bad, but can't get it just yet.
Almost had his nose taken off with the way that he cut across him.
DeMarco, look at the slide he put in that car to get it to rotate in. Houseal up to P6. And looking behind him, a big drama as Paul Darling works on by some lap traffic. 39 of Alan Claffey returning to the racetrack.
Whoa.
Right in the middle, and the 17 and 47 get hooked together, and big crash on the front straightaway. Tires scattering across the racetrack, and big damage for those drivers involved in that one. What a mess.
Yeah, hard impact for both these cars, and now just a pile of junk.
A pile of junk, I'll say. Here's another look. Alan Claffey just unsightedly pulls across the racetrack. Just poor timing. And just, I don't think he knew that those cars were side by side behind him, but what a mess that made as those drivers got together. Look at this impact. Watch this. Oh, man. And cones and pieces scattering. Well, right on board with Max King. Oh, man. More drivers involved in collisions, but up front, it's still Kyle Herbst. Larry McLeod has got him kind of in his sights, but hasn't been able to get quite to him yet. 3/10 back with just under 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, trying to chase him back down. And these guys still fairly close for the most part.
There's Kevin Zhu in the 243, Richard Spicer in behind, and it's a couple seconds back to Ken Houseal, so these guys have a little bit of room to battle amongst themselves.
Yeah, with just as across the line, 6.5 minutes remaining. There's a 33 massive run. Spicer gonna have a look up the inside.
Down into turn one, Spicer on the inside lane, driver's right on the brakes, and we'll have that spot quite easily. Can Zhu cross him over? Good run, but really nowhere to go here.
Yeah, he can try to build up a run to turn 3 and have a look up the inside of the corner. He's gonna have a look. Nope, he's gonna back out of it. Didn't have enough of a run.
Dennis Barrett has just had an incident, Vinny, and another driver that we're familiar
and Darling also out as well.
Oh, wow. This had to be a big wreck here, too. Here's Barrett down the front straightaway. Oh, there's a car right. Oh, it was Darling, and
yeah.
he's going to clip Darling with the left rear or front.
Oh,
wow.
And absolutely destroyed his car.
DeMarco
Darling
as well.
had an incident with, I think, that car.
That was DeMarco. Another incident with one of our front runners tonight. And just a matter of finding how this all started. Here's a look at DeMarco and Houseal. Houseal runs DeMarco a little bit wide. He pulls back on course, and he and Paul Darling are. Oh yeah, his turn's dead right. Oh, Darling took a heck of a lick. Oh wow. This is not gone the way that I think we would expect it to have gone. Oh my goodness. And right here, he's gonna get clobbered.
Yeah, I think that was because Barrett couldn't see ahead because there's 2 cars right ahead of him. I think his vision was blocked.
And so Barrett, for how good of a night he's had in seasons past, this is a replay of it, and kind of unsighted here. Didn't see the car stop.
Yeah, can't see it at all here.
Coming over the crest, too late. Oh, and that wheel went right over the top of his helmet as he skitters across towards the tree line. Anyway, for the lead, Herbst and McLeod nose to tail, 1/10 of a second separating them. Spicer closing in. It's a 3-car, making a 4-car battle as Zhu closes in from 4th.
Yeah, Zhu closing in. Even Houseal is just slightly trailing them in from behind, although this is not only got to catch up but get past 4 cars in a very short amount of time.
Stevie, I think that's Stevie Ray. No, not quite. It's Houseal that you mentioned. He's close enough and running good enough times to get a couple more spots, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get there. But McLeod right on the back of Herbst. It's all about, I mean, is it too early to pass? Is this a NASCAR drafting sort of situation where you want to wait to the last lap?
I think you're going to want to wait till the last lap into turn 1 and then make your move there. I think if you're going to make it before you're jumping the gun a little bit, especially too because these guys don't have any lap cars ahead of them to draft off them. So Herbst is a sitting duck essentially, and I think McLeod knows that.
And the problem is McLeod's also a sitting duck with Richard Spicer closing in. They're in the dirt trying to break the draft here down the front straightaway, and look at the 33 close in. Is he going to take a look or be partners? He's going to take a look.
Yeah, Spicer pretty much has to take a look. These guys have about 3 laps to go as they come across the line.
Into the braking zone for turn number 1. Spicer deep on the binders and side by side. They can't let Herbst get away here though, so maybe McLeod should just fall in line here, or do you think he should fight?
I think he's going to try to fight. I think he wants to stay in second place if he can. And he might be giving it up here. I think, yep, he's conceded the battle to Spicer. So Spicer now in second, chasing down Herbst.
And we've got quite the arrangement of front runners here. DJ Alessandrini, meanwhile, has worked his way back inside the top 10, but This is a great opportunity for some drivers that haven't had a chance to win a race to get a race win here.
Yeah, like Herbst.
Yeah, and Herbst, he's won races in the DC Region SCCA iRacing League in the past, but it was a long time ago, and this would be one heck of a way to start the season.
Yeah, did really well in the Mustangs, if I'm not mistaken, when we did some mixed class racing with these guys, but so far showing his open wheel prowess, and so far so good. Got to hold off for 2 more laps coming to the line.
Heading down towards turn 9.
You see Spicer, you thought about making him on the outside as Herbst is giving the lane, but he's going to wait here.
Look how much yaw they have in the corners, just hanging the rear tires out, just to try to carry as much speed as possible down the front straightaway, though. Look at them all weaving. Look at them, or that's Zoo. They got in the dirt again, trying to hold the draft here. But look at the 33 to the driver's left down towards turn 1. McLeod going to follow.
Yeah, he made such a violent move, caught a little bit of grass on the outside of the track. Here they go deep into the brakes. Both these drivers.
Bit of a bobble locked up for both those cars.
Yeah, he clipped the grass as he was braking too, which is the worst thing he can do. Now he's going to have the better line, arguably, going to 3.
Through the trees, down the back straightaway towards turn number 3. And this is really close. 4 drivers within a tenth and a half of a second. I saw something harder piece flying. Maybe it was just a clod of dirt, but wow, look at how wild they're getting.
Yeah, if they don't stop, there will be a piece of debris flying out, as they're all really as nose to tail as you can get as they head down towards turn 5.
It's so easy to make a mistake here. Zoo on the binder, slipping and sliding, following these front 3. We're going to have 2 laps to go at the line. That's 2 laps too long for Richard Spicer, I think. He's got a bunch of hungry drivers right in behind him.
Yeah, waiting to see what really one of these guys do here. Actually, as they're coming to the line, it's going to be close.
You're right about... Oh, no, it's going to be 1 to go. You're right. I don't know why it's saying 2 to go. It's going to be 1 to go this time. So this will be our last lap. You see Herbst lining up a pass. Drivers left at the exit of turn 10. That's a risky pass. He's going to have a run.
Yeah, they're definitely racing like it's going to be the white flag, and indeed it is. Here they come across the line, side by side.
White flag, one more time around Summit Point Motorsports Park in the first race of the night. Wheels touching down the front straight. Herbst and Spicer door to door, and the 35 of McLeod in behind him.
Spicer deep onto the brakes. McLeod nowhere to go, really. Herbst way out, almost into the grass as he goes wide.
Side by side still as they head towards turn number 3. Drivers left the preferred line here, but you can carry more momentum on drivers right. So Spicer might have a better run into 5 here as they head through 3. But can he stay alongside? Great run as Herbst has a jump on the brakes.
Yeah, he really made Herbst jump on the brakes there. He was playing chicken with him, and Spicer went out.
Might be a battle just for a second as McLeod fights for it. Herbst throws the car into turn 4 and down into 5, down a couple gears into 2nd. Trying to chase Spicer down, running out of time.
Yeah, he's really running out of time. He has to really get a draft up to him in 10 and then potentially pass him before they get to the line. It's going to be a tall order.
Spicer got the lead away with only 2 laps to go, but was it enough? 15 seconds left in the race and 2 more corners. Herbst, 0.4 of a second back. It's not too far. He can still draft up there. 1 corner left. 0 on the clock. Checkered flag going to be coming out on the front straightaway this time. Richard Spicer coming to the line. Will he get there? It looks like he will by a car length, and Richard Spicer wins at Summit Point Motorsports Park in a spectacular last lap battle between the top 4.
Yeah, and then Larry McLeod and Kevin Zoo will round out that battle, and then Ken Alseal will round out your top 5.
Oh, David Stern was having a really good run, but he's just gone for a loop at the exit of turn 9. Here's what happened to him. Had gotten some help from the number 20. Ooh, yeah. That was the 20 car driven by...
So lucky those trees are not real.
Yeah. The real in real life. Josh Cada now was the one that got into him, but Stern's going to come on through and finish out in 16th place. But for Spicer, what a drive. What a move.
Yeah, timed that move to perfection, and then did a fantastic job maintaining the lead as well.
So we've got some things to go over, though, before we step away. And we will have another race in just a couple minutes, so don't go anywhere. But let's go over, first let's go over the pace lap situation. Because I think that's kind of what everyone was so confused about at the beginning of the race, was how that happened. That's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to crash on the pace lap.
No, you're not.
Gotta go back and take a look exactly. This happened heading into turn 5, and I think it happened. So I know that Ryan Christoph was involved in it. I don't think that's where it started, but we're gonna take a look. Maybe from right on board with Christoph. How far up the road? Oh yeah.
The down effect. Ooh.
Yeah, there goes the nose off that car. And motor blew on that thing almost instantly. Was it the 47 of Max? No, he was on the inside.
So he was the 6, I think. No.
Behind Dennis Barrett. Oh, what?
70.
With a 70 car, which would be driven by Darren Treacle. Let's go back and see. Oh, no, it was in front of him. It was even the 34. We're just trying to chase this up the line and find what car started this. So David Alessi, yeah, that's really where it started, right? Just to check up.
It started up further ahead of him.
Oh, look.
Sorry, I think with the 30.
The 30 is weaving.
Yeah, what's the 30, the 69.
The 136, I think, is really where it totally starts.
And all it was really was just a small little dab on the brakes, but all these guys were so close to each other that it got progressively worse with the checkups further down the order. Yeah.
Oh, man, Kristoff just got pile driven there. So then let's go ahead to the race start and see how that whole situation happened, because some of our front runners immediately out of the race.
Yeah, especially
we're going to find DJ Alessandrini because I know he was started on pole. So there was a crash mid-pack. We're going to focus on the one that started in the front row. So let's take a look exactly how this happened. We'll look up above maybe. So there's the 31 that was being driven by Paul Gibson. Drives off and
oh, yeah, some help.
It was the 111 Stevie Ray that drove in way hard. And here's another look if we can find where he ended up finishing 6th in the race. Just drove in way too deep and got into the back of these cars. That's where Halseal got his damage, and Alessandrini and Gibson just got cleared out.
Yeah, and Alessandrini though was quite lucky, although I don't think he would think that he only got hit in the side pod, not in really anything important, especially in the wheels.
Yeah, so here's another look focusing on Gibson this time as he gets hit. And DJ left a ton of space and then just all of a sudden sees the rear wing of the 31. They go off course. And the 31 actually had right rear suspension damage, dragging the tire sideways across the gravel. But this wasn't the only incident that we had on the front straight. There was another one that happened behind them. And I think it might have been the 40. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
37 of Evan Schickel was kind of in the middle of this. And you're trying to wow, there was a whole lot going on back here.
Oh, turn was a parking lot midfield.
Well, I wasn't showing it, so I have to go back and watch this again. So the 37 of Schickel, they were looking 4 wide for a moment, then 3 wide. The 66 of Obadia gets into the 20, and they all just start getting tangled. And then watch what happens. They get down to turn 1, the 05, which is being driven by Michael Monahan. He gets turned and sent airborne. And the whole field has to jump on the brakes to miss it. But that was a mess there. But anyway, here's a look at your race results after a chaotic first race.
Yeah, and Spicer again with a fantastic job. And even Herbst too, I'm sure he's going to not necessarily feel robbed, but, was leading up until that point. And I think it really came down to really Spice or Herbst or McLeod. But McLeod just wasn't able to make a move. Spicer beat him to the punch.
I also have a Grid Life iRacers logo in there, so you need to replace that. Yeah. Well... Anyway, there's some Grid Life drivers in here too, so we'll do a little cross promotion. But anyway, there's your top 10. We're gonna let the rest of that scroll on through. Then we gotta head. I don't even know if it's gonna scroll through because we gotta head out of here because the server is done and over. There's the rest of the top 30, and we're gonna head off to race number 2 here in just a moment. So stay tuned, stay with us, and we'll be back for another go for 20 minutes this time, and we'll see if anyone else can make it to the checkers. We'll be back in just a few minutes. To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m., the feeling of a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist, born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars, found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Lambs? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. We're currently practicing for our second race tonight. And Finian, what we saw in race number 1 tells me that we're going to see a lot more of the same, I would suspect, in race number 2. Your thoughts after a chaotic first 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think more or less we are expecting to see the same thing. We'll see if the guys do calm down a teeny bit going down into turn 1, because we saw a lot of incidents. So we'll see these guys give each other just a little bit more room and break a little bit earlier, or if it'll be as chaotic as it was in race 1.
So the grid for race 2 is set on the finishing order from race 1, which means that some of the drivers that we were talking about earlier, Paul Gibson being one of them, if he joins us, I haven't seen him in, oh, he is here. He's currently quickest in practice. He's going to be starting towards the tail of the field. DJ Alessandrini, who would have been his main competitor, will be starting up in 6th. So it'll be an interesting thing to watch him have to climb his way through the field. I am hoping that he can get through without getting caught up in an accident, but it's pretty difficult not to with this many cars. So other drivers looking for a rebound here. I'm hoping also that Ryan Christoph gives this another go. And I don't see him loaded in at the moment. But a bunch of those cars got wrecked on the pace lap and didn't get a chance to actually even go green tonight. So hopefully they'll have a chance. Larry McLeod, what a great performance from him in race 1. His first competitive event going for points this season, and solidly inside the top 5.
Yeah, finishing 3rd is going to be starting in 3rd. As well as Kyle Herbst, who's just ahead of him on the timesheets at the moment in practice. Who's going to be starting in 2nd, but Spicer's going to be the one that leads the field down to green.
Yeah, that was a spectacular run by Spicer at the end of that thing to get the job done. Anyway, just take a look at our track conditions. 76 degrees in the air, 105 on the racetrack. Wind 4 miles an hour out of the southeast. Mostly cloudy skies for this race, so very similar conditions to before. Just a little bit warmer, and there's Don Manning going for a slide down into turn number 5. Surprised at how few incidents we saw down on this end of the racetrack. I thought we'd see more down here than in turn 1, but I guess it makes sense that your primary passing zone is also the place where you see the most wrecks.
Yeah, especially, you know, combined with cold tires, guys trying to outbrake each other on cold brakes, and there's a big wreck in the background.
Holy
into
cow.
the trees.
Trying to see who that was. Might have been Stevie Ray. We'll get a look. Possibly. No. Don't know who that was, but oh, he also crashed hard. Just on a different part of the racetrack. So actually, I want to take a look at this because we have about a minute left in warm-up here. I want to take a look if we ride on board the gyro cam here. So if we ride on board, watch the damage. So you see this tire. This did not happen on the old damage model. This is strictly a new feature. Now, you'd get steering damage before, but now you can drag your wheels around. We saw that happen to Paul Gibson in race 1. You can completely tear a wheel off and be left completely without any wheels. So you can't just limp your car back to the pits and reset and be good to go. That car is toast. And that's the big change that we've seen, especially in open wheel cars that are more fragile. It's going to be a big challenge to keep yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, again, you have to make sure you keep yourself out of more trouble. And that's typically why, you know, in a lot of open wheel racing, you know, it's very, I guess, shy is the best way to put it, than compared to touring car or stock car racing, where guys have fenders to protect the wheels.
Well,
these
guys
have
for shy would be respectful.
Yeah, yeah, respectful as far as the moves they make, because they know that if they make contact, it could destroy their suspension and leave them pretty much with the junk of a car.
Absolutely. So we'll remind you again that if you're interested in kind of more behind-the-scenes content and special content, we have that available here on Sim TV, and you can check it out by hitting the join button, which is right next to the subscribe button, and you can support us at 3 different levels at $1.99, 99 cents, or $4.99 a month. You get different perks for each. It's interesting. You all should check it out, and you get the special emojis that you've seen in YouTube chat at any of the 3 levels, so we'll check those out for sure. Anyway, heading down to the grid here for race number 2, I guess let's roll through our starting lineup for our second race tonight. Here we go. On the front row, Richard Spicer won race number 1. He's going to start on pole for race 2. Kyle Herbst right alongside him in the 2nd place position.
And right in behind them in 3rd, Larry McLeod, and with a great run in the 33 from Michigan, going to be starting in 3rd. Next to him, Kevin Zhu, also next to him in 4th.
In row number 3, Ken Halseal, the number 23 from Pennsylvania, had a decent race. Number 1 got kind of caught up in that first turn collision. Stevie Ray misses breaking point on the early lap, ended up 6th for the race number 1.
Back in 7th, Lex Karachek in the 32 from New York, and be starting next to DJ Alessandrini. He's got a lot to make up in the 61 and 8th.
9th place, Louis Alessi in the 43, and 10th, Travis Trussell in the number 140 rolls off in the 5th row.
Moving on back to 11th, Dave Fitzgerald with a good run in the 91. Next to him in 12th, Ida Waxman in the 12 from Ohio.
In row number 7, 13th place, Thomas Lee in the 44. Michael Shea in the 78 from Pennsylvania rolls off P14.
Back in 15th place, we're going to have Francois Brou in the 69. Next to him, David Stern in the 36, going to be lining up in 16, rounding out row 8.
In row number 9, in 17th place, Michael Monahan in the number 05, and on his outside in 18th, Andrew Chow in the 25.
Moving back to 19th, Ryan Harrison in the 19, coincidentally, is going to be lining up there. Next to him in 20th, David Alessi in the 34 from the Virginias.
Rich DeMarco in the 461 had a very solid race 1 until he got involved in a collision. He'll roll off 21st. Travis Skeel in 22nd, his number 38.
Back in 23rd, Greg Obadia in the 66. He's got a lot of makeup after what happened to him in turn 1. And next to him in 24th, Devin
McCohen? We're going to get corrected on that, so correct us later. Anyway, 25th, Christopher Spiller in the 986, I believe that is.
Yeah.
And Bob Shoemaker in the 55 rolls off 26th.
Back in 27th, Robert Porter in the 136 is going to be lining up next to Darren Treacle in the 70 from the Virginias in 28th.
29th place is going to be Evan Schickel in the 35. Got caught up in a mid-pack collision, as did Josh Caden, the New Yorker, in the number 40. He rolls off P30.
Back in 31st, Paul Gibson in the 31. He's got a very, very, very long way to get up towards the front of the grid. I don't think he's going to be able to. Max King in the 26 is going to be starting next to him in 32nd.
33rd, Dennis Barrett in the number 11. Charles Bowley, the New Yorker, in the 21. He rolls off 34th.
Next, and right in behind them in 35th, Alan Claffey in the 39 is going to be lining up next to Don Manning in the 92 in 36th.
37th, running out of breath here. Nick Babin in the 24 from New Jersey. Bob Casera in the 42, 37th, and 38th.
Rounding out your top 40 in 39th, Paul Darling.
Really a top 40?
The 155.
It's almost everybody.
Next to him, David Gray in the 22, going to be in 40th.
And your final row tonight, Mark Labbins and Christopher Moody, 41st and 42nd. That's a whole lot of race cars. Time to try it all again. We had calamity and carnage on turn 1, lap 1, last race. Can we do any better this time? Spicer and Herbst on the front row. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Summit Point for race 2 of round 1. And a lot more of a gentle start this time. Everyone kind of being a bit more careful, at least up towards the front. There is hopping on a line. I believe that is Herbst in the 89, and is going to try to get around, maybe cross over the 14, but hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, and also, and still guys working through turn 1. There's that many cars.
Much better this time, I will say, though.
Yeah.
Although I do think, as I say that, I think we've had a couple cars go around for a loop, and we have had a few cars, but mostly just a spin, so I think we're all right there. Spicer leads the way down towards turn number 5. Herbst in second, McLeod, and Halseal.
Yeah, and Launch Halseal currently in 4th, trying to make a move to the inside or have a look to McLeod.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul Darling was involved in that collision. Oh, there's a big gap here, Finney. I think this is bigger than we saw, so we have to go back and take a look at this. But Paul Darling, again, 2 bad runs tonight. Oh, but this one, okay. Yeah, I take back what I said. Oh, just continuing to pile in. This is car thrown across the racetrack as they all got into it. And Paul Darling, that is going to be terminal damage for him tonight. What a shame.
Oh, what a shame indeed. As we go back to the lead, and it's going to be, Kyle Herbst.
Out in front. McLeod up to second place, and we're missing a bunch more cars as well.
Oh, I just saw someone go violently off to the right, or sorry, to the left of the
Evan
street.
Schickel.
Yeah.
And he's pulled it off the racetrack. How did he meet the end of the run tonight?
Oh, yeah. That's going to do it.
But I would say that we started with less attrition, but I don't think we did. I think we're kind of similar situation to where we were last time. How about this for the lead, though? This is for the top spot. McLeod and Richard Spicer side by side. Then it's Herbst and Halseal for third.
I also noticed Spicer missing his nose cones. I wonder if that has anything to do with the reason why he was back and forth, but he's taking the lead back yet again.
And that could hurt the downforce level a little bit on this race car, maybe some top-end speed as well. Herbst out a little bit wide in the dirt, trying to lock up the brakes. He does, and somehow gets it slowed down. Alessandrini jumps the curb and trying to miss the 89, and a wild moment there for those drivers.
And only lost really a spot to Kevin Zhu. So he'll be back in fifth, but Spicer's still up ahead leading these guys. Francois
Brou has gone around for a loop. He's dropped down to 19th. We're going to stay up front for now, though. I won't take you back for that replay just yet.
Ken Halseal in third place. I think he's going to be a big spin in the background.
Yeah, he's gone around. Was inside the top 10. He should be able to get that car back rolling. But now onto the front straightaway where everyone gets grouped back up. But the top three starting to pull away. And Alessandrini still stuck in sixth. And another car goes around, and it's Stevie Ray in the 111. And that's going to be some significant damage, I think. No, looks like he might be all right. Pull back on course, and how did he get around? I think this might have just been on his own.
Yeah, this is similar to what we saw that wreck earlier. It's going to put the dirt, going to go sliding, and just going to hit the nose. Tire bearings.
Back out on course. So McLeod has the lead, Spicer in second, Halseal, Zhu, Alessandrini, your top five. Bit of a gap back to fourth and fifth, though. Top three all nose to tail.
And here comes Ken Halseal now making a move to Spicer, going down to turn 5, going to be on the outside of turn 4, however. I think Spicer's going to back out. I think he knows that his car is a little bit off the pace.
You have to carry that car so wide on the entry to 5, and it's always a risk that you dip the wheels off in the dirt like we saw the 89 do and lost some positions.
And now Ken Halseal chasing down Larry McClough in the lead, looking at Kevin Zhu, holding up Kyle Herbst, but DJ Alessandrini has gotten past these guys.
This is the big danger. Now, also, Paul Gibson, we talked about him starting pretty deep in the field. He started back in 31st. Well, he made it through that turn 1, lap 1 collision, and now he's up to 17th place, and he's, I think, well out of the battle for the lead, but certainly could be a factor inside the top 10 by the end of this race. As we go back to the top spot, Halseal all over the back of McLeod.
And here comes Halseal with a run and a look down to turn 1.
Side by side, 15 minutes left in this race. And Richard Spicer on the outside. Try to get a preferred line on the exit at turn 1. Halseal's in a little bit deep. McLeod's going to cross over.
McLeod's going to have the run yet again, but I don't know if he has enough to get back to Halseal. Looks like Halseal's going to be clear on McLeod.
McLeod's going to try to sneak up, back up the outside. Can't do it. Tucks in line for turn 3. And such a good run through the corner. Bit of an off-track moment there. Look at DJ. 4 tires off in the dirt trying to carry speed.
DJ's throwing off tracks out the window. He doesn't care. He's just trying to get back up to the lead.
Doesn't matter. Out tracks don't matter. You can use what you can as long as you're not exceeding track limits to gain an advantage, which probably could be deemed that, but I don't think they're going to call them. Throttling back up again, and it's now a 4-car race at the front of the field. Herbst and Zhu still duking it out for 5th in the background. Another short battle between Shea, Alessi, and King, and a few other drivers. We're going to stay focused on the front. But Halseal beginning to pull away. And he needs to run if he wants to outrun DJ tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be doing his best to break away from these guys, while DJ's still really held up by 2 guys, Spicer and McLeod. Speaking of which, Alessandrini are making a move on Spicer, trying to.
Yeah, tuck back in. He's going to get the draft pull out to the right here. Spicer won't defend. Now onto the brakes for turn 1. Spicer bailed out. DJ's in really deep, right up against the edge of the curb, and throttles back up now, looking for 2nd place on McLeod.
Yeah, it's able to get by Spicer. I don't think he's going to get McLeod now. He might be patient, wait for turn 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's a lap car right in front of them. It might be of concern. And we're playing with inches here between McLeod and Alessandrini, so hopefully these two don't get together through the trees as they head down to turn 4. And DJ's going to look out to driver's left, and a bit of a scary moment there. McLeod's all sorts of sideways into 5, gets it collected.
And still in the hunt, that lap car really held up Halseal and brought him back into the clutches of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
I cannot stress how little room there is between these drivers through some of these corners. DJ's got the nose cone buried right up into the gearbox. Paul Gibson is at an accident.
Oh, just as he was having a pretty decent run, all things considered, the way from where he started.
Have to go back a little farther to exactly find out. Oh, this is a big one, too. Here's a look. Crash in
Jackson
front of
up
them.
ahead and right into him.
The 136 that was involved in that as well. And that car was being driven by Robert Porter. And here is exactly what happened to these guys. Up in front of them was the 25 of Andrew Chow, and he just drove into the back of the 43 of Louis Alessi, spins down, and that's where Paul Gibson, Don Manning, and a couple other cars get collected. Not the way that he wanted his night to go, and through all that, DJ's gotten the lead away.
Amazing.
You look away for 2 seconds, you can't take your eyes off this kid. Go back, take a look. Just easy peasy lemon squeezy down into turn 1, just outbrake both of them.
You get a 2-for-1 deal down into turn 1. He's going to get past McLeod and Houseel into the brake. He's going to also slide in front of Houseel.
Yeah, locked up the brakes, getting it done, but using every little bit of braking performance in this race car. Has a half a second lead on Houseel now for 5th, Herbst and Zoo. And behind them, how about Max King, Alessi, and Shea?
Yeah, and a few more in behind them. I think Chow and I think maybe even Obadia might be in that battle as well.
A little bit of damage on the nose of that 34 car. You see the nose cone kind of cracked open there. It's not helping the aerodynamic performance on this car, but it shouldn't hurt it too bad.
Yeah, doors could be completely gone, so he's at least got something to work with. Almost ended up losing it there as he had a look up to the inside of the 26, but now side by side for lead. Houseel making a run on Allison Journey.
Down the front straightaway into turn 1 on the brakes again for the 23. Nice, tidy corner entry. Takes the lead back from DJ Alessandrini.
Yeah, these top 4 will still close together. McLeod just kind of sitting in behind them in third. Alessandrini, who had a interesting look down at turn 3, backed out of it.
And Houseel's off in the gravel. And that's kind of a sketchy moment, carrying that much speed out there over 100 miles an hour into an off-track zone.
And here they come down into turn 5.
Oh, man.
Guys flirting with inches.
Larry McLeod's and Richard Spicer are staying in nice and tidy behind them just in case these two get together. Very real possibility. A lot of talent in these two cars.
Yeah, though I imagine these guys are going to play with each other a little bit nicer because they didn't really do so well in race 1.
Well, they race nicely, but they also race really hard, and that's, I think, what I'd be more concerned about is being polite, but also being a bit too aggressive with maneuvers. But gonna just do a lot of this back and forth, I imagine, as Houseel will lead that lap, but DJ is gonna have the run down to turn 1.
Yeah, also behind him, Spicer and McLeod side by side for third place as well. Both these groups side by side down to turn 1. Alessandrini going to go hard into the brakes.
And Spicer and McLeod, and Spicer jumps the curb just a touch. Behind him, Herbst is around in turn 1. Collision.
Some damage to his rear wing as well.
I think that's kind of the telltale sign of getting rear-ended. Kevin Zhu just too deep. Nudges him wide. Great brakes for, I think, was that Andrew Chow in the 25? No, it was David Alessi. Watch this.
There's Herbst.
Oh, wrong car.
That's not Herbst.
I was trying to figure out who that was. It wasn't Kevin Zhu. Max King?
No, up ahead of.
Huh. Don't know who that car was that did that. But anyway, someone missed him very, very well. David Alessi has gone around. Oh, that's probably who it was. David Alessi. And he had an issue down here. Andrew Chow on the inside. Bit of contact. Going to send him around. There was another car stopped. Looked like a whole lot of damage. He should be able to continue without much difficulty. Well, back to the lead again.
Yep, and same story with these guys again. Houseel gonna have a run on Alessandrini. Look up the inside, and they've broken away from Spicer and McLeod as those guys were fighting.
And it's really just between these two at this time. We're well past halfway, 8.5 minutes left. Houseel's been doing a great job through 1. I don't know, so I think DJ is just going to sit here. I don't think these guys are racing each other right now. I think they're just trying to get a gap on Spicer and McLeod. It seems like they're working together.
Yeah, so that way they can really just kind of fight amongst themselves and not to worry about third place being right there. They can just kind of fight amongst themselves for the lead, and if anything, get second place to boot.
Lap car up ahead, and what's a yellow car? It could be. No, it's not Paul Gibson. It's the 986. Tonight being driven by Christopher Spiller. Clouds have come over the track here, Finian. Maybe cool it down a little bit, give it a bit more grip. Could change the dynamics.
Depends how long the clouds stay. It's a big cloud, I think, covering most of the racetrack, at least this part of the racetrack.
Most of the track in general. And about 8 minutes to go. So between these two, Finian, which one are you hedging your bets on?
Honestly, it's kind of tough to tell. I would say probably DJ Alessandrini. No offense, Ken, but I think DJ is looking a little bit faster at the moment compared to Hausiel.
I think it's all going to come down to how aggressive Hausiel's willing to get. And we've seen in the past that Ken's not willing to back out of a dive. If he's going to set it, he'll go for it. As you see, DJ go back to the lead, and McLeod and Spicer are still debating who's got third.
Yeah, these guys have kind of lost touch with the leader, and that's a lot of the driveway. So it's pretty much amongst these two guys for third place. And still not done deciding that battle.
Michael Shea and Andrew Chow down into turn 1. And Shea has 8th place, and Shea in the 78 started in 14th. Nice climb forward up to P8 for him tonight.
Yeah, Chow working to him side by side with these guys.
Into turn 3. And Grego Badia in the 66 is following them a couple seconds back. No other very close battles on the racetrack at this time. Oh, car off, and that's the 36. It is I believe, a lap down car. That's Evan Schickel.
No, David Stern.
Oh, excuse me. I was looking at the wrong 30-something car. Schickel's the 35, and right in the middle of this battle, which is the car I was trying to select.
He's kind of hanging out. Obviously, doesn't really want to get involved between these guys. Just along for the ride.
So now I'm looking back at the leaders again because Hausiel is going to go back to the top spot. Or do you think they're counting down the laps and trying to figure out which position they want to be in, or do you think they're just going to run it out and figure it out on the last lap?
I think, honestly, I think they're just kind of going at it. I think they're just having fun right now. I don't even think they're really trying to strategize a whole lot. As far as that's concerned, when one of them's in second place, they can just kind of sit there for the rest of the race. But I think to them that's boring. So they're just going to keep on swapping positions down to turn 1, maybe some Boris spots, as Alessandrini had a look in turn 3.
They're still running really good lap times. There's really no concern of them slowing each other down a whole lot. Michael Shea got shoved a bit wide here as Chow goes on through. And also Max King, who's up the road, trying to close the gap on Ido Waxman, a solid 6th place run for the 12 car so far. Sun's back out through the middle sector. And we'll see if that dropped the track temperature at all. A couple of degrees down from about 105 to 99. As Hausiel and Alessandrini continue to extend the gap on 3rd place. 5 minutes left at this time.
Yeah, and interesting thing to do with that cloud cover, Alessandrini ran the fastest lap of the race, 1:20.888.
A little bit wide on the rumble strip at the exit of turn 10, and DJ's going to swing to driver's right. Across the line, Hausiel will lead this lap, and Hausiel so far has led.
That would have been amazing if that was the gap at the line. Let's see actually if we can pull that up, what the gap was at the line.
The gap at the line would have been 20 thousandths of a second.
200.
20 thousandths, 200ths.
Oh,
same thing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying 2,000ths.
Ah. I think Paul Gibson would have made this an interesting fight here, Finian, but he's back in 27th, a lap down. I think he'll have to wait till next week to give this a run.
Yeah, and essentially that wreck on lap 1 and race 1 that essentially ruined his run for this evening because he had to start in the back and then got involved in another incident in race 2. So yeah, this is not a good week for Gibson, and we'll have to see what he can bring next week because he definitely has the speed. Yeah,
Summit Point is definitely a racetrack that invites those turn 1 collisions because it's such a long straight. It's relatively wide. You get down to turn 1, and it's a super tight corner at the apex. Narrows down. There's a big tall curb on the right, gravel trap on track out. So it's a hazardous corner, and I'm not surprised we've seen drivers struggle with it tonight. Lap traffic for the leaders now.
Oh, and right in the way.
Oh, no! Contact! Boy. And DJ's going to get knocked off course slightly, but collects it, and great response by Ken Hausiel to jump on the brakes that fast. That could have been an absolute disaster. That was Don Manning. And that could have been a whole lot worse for him. I'm surprised it wasn't.
Yeah, it definitely could have been a whole lot worse for these guys. Whoa!
Yeah, I think what he did is he slowed down to try to let them by, but Finian, you got to know, you can't deviate your line because the drivers are expecting you to try to make the corner, and he didn't, and that's what caused that stack up.
Yeah, these guys did a great job of avoiding it. Neither of these two got any damage from that.
Yeah, that was about as close as it gets to taking out the leaders right there. And Alessandrini and House. Oh! DJ caught the turn. Off course by a ton. Can he save it? Yes. But Houseal's going to take the opportunity to try to swing to driver's left. Out into the braking zone for 5, tucks back in line.
DJ making that an impromptu drift session,
yeah,
there, not by design.
A surprising mistake from a guy that doesn't make a whole lot of those. Now, Seal's got to be ready to jump on that if he does it again.
These guys come to the line. It's going to be 2 laps to go on the race.
And you can bet that Ken Houseal is counting every second with a big run out of 9 to sit on this, because there's no point in passing in turn 9 because they're going to pass you right back on the front straight if you do so. There's a little bit of planning involved in this. Yeah. Right out to the end. Every last inch of pavement they're on.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is with that incident on the last lap, McLeod and Spicer have caught up a little bit. They're only 1.5 seconds behind as these guys go side by side again.
And as these two start fighting, because we're down two laps to go, you're not. Oh no! Houseal locks up down into 1. Ooh. And Alessandrini's going to swing back to driver's right and take the lead away in another uncharacteristic mistake by a front runner tonight. How about that? And it's rare that we see Houseal lock up, but here's a look. Gets down into the braking zone and just a bit too much.
Yeah, just a bit too late as well. He's going to get into the rig. I think he realized that he's a little bit. Oh, also caught some grass,
the grass
too.
With the left rear and did a pretty good job getting it slowed down, but drags that right front tire for about 100 feet before he gets it rolling again, and that's where DJ swung to the inside to get the lead back. Might have been a blessing in disguise, though, because it puts Ken in the position to take the lead away heading into the white flag lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to load a build up a little bit closer to Alessandrini, but he should be just close enough to build up a run, get that draft, and make a move down into turn 1. I'm curious what Alessandrini's got up his sleeve, because can't imagine he's just going to give him the spot. I think he's going to go defensive.
And the 3rd and 4th place cars are not that far behind if things get messy. 1 minute left, white flag one more time around here at Summit Point Motorsports Park for the first round of the 2020 Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League. And here's a pass for the lead at the line.
Yeah, I'm surprised Alessandrini not going defensive into turn 1.
That's on purpose. Every move that these guys make is very calculated. But we're going to see how DJ defends. Really deep on the brakes. Plenty of racing room for both of these drivers. Excellent work.
Yeah, he was trying to pinch Houseal down, but couldn't get it done. But now he's going to have the preferred line into 3 as if he can just get a little bit more alongside.
I'm not convinced that the inside's the better line to be here, but Ken's going to give him the corner. That was a key moment right there. Behind him, 3rd place, Spicer and McLeod locked into battle. Spicer gets 3rd place. Houseal gave DJ the inside line there, maybe trying to avoid a collision, but that might have been his only opportunity to keep the lead.
Yeah, and I think it's really DJ just playing a game of chicken. Who was going to give up between them into turn 3, and it was Houseal, and he's now running out of
that might have been it. Oh, DJ's a touch wide. Setting up a pass into the front straightaway to get the lead at the line is so challenging, but Ken might be able to do it.
He can try coming to 10 here with only a few corners remaining. There he's got the run.
This is going to be a great run, but will he take it? Will DJ defend? One more corner. Here comes Ken to the inside. Going to be side by side through the final corner. Checkered flag waving. Who gets back to the line first? It's Alessandrini in the gravel. Houseal on the inside. Battle to the line. Who's going to get there? Side by side. It's going to be DJ Alessandrini by a half a car length.
Yeah, very close between them. But yeah, DJ up in front. It's going to be McLeod and then Spicer for 4th, and then Kevin Zhu. He's going to come back across the line in 5th.
Wow, what a 57 thousandths of a second, your margin of victory there. And Ken did everything he needed to do, but just didn't quite set it up to get a good enough run. And we'll let the rest of the field roll on through.
Ooh, some stuff. Whoa!
Ooh, some duking and diving through the mid-pack there as some of the cars come across the line. 14th and 15th, I believe that was. Another group of cars chasing each other back down. Across the line. Whew. Wow, okay. I think we're done.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of action in that race.
All right, so here's a look at your race results. Again, apologize for the Grid Life logo. I'll get that fixed up for next week. But DJ Alessandrini, Ken Houseal, Larry McLeod, 57 thousandths of a second. Then 2 seconds back for Larry and Richard. And Kevin Zhu, Max King, 11 through 20, a Stevie Ray, 16th place. Dave Fitzgerald, top 20 for his number 91. The lessee drivers, 12th and 13th.
Looking on the rest of this, Paul Gibson back in 27th, a lap down, unfortunately, after what happened to him. Was looking at getting potentially top 15, even a top 10 at the rate he was going at.
How about 10 lead changes in 15 laps?
Yeah.
That's almost Talladega impressive.
Yeah, no, it's impressive, especially at a place like this. This is not really a track associated with passing, but the way DJ and Ken were just kind of going back and forth, being a little cheeky with it, I think definitely helped to that number being pretty high.
So with that, we're going to jump to break for just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You're going to hear from your race winners. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to SimTV and the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League round number 1, race 2. Kevin, kind of a wild race all around for both events for you tonight, but a 5th place in race 2 and a good battle with some peers. Ended up a couple seconds back from the battle for 3rd, but just walk us through your events tonight and try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, so qualifying went really well. I somehow ahead of Ken for a second, and he put in the flyer of a 3rd lap. And then the whole thing at the turn 1 happened. And I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about Ken and DJ anymore. And yeah, that was pretty eventful. A lot of close racing in there, a couple close calls. Second race went really smooth. I fought a bit too much with Kyle, and we ended up losing the guys in the front. And then I accidentally bumped him coming into going around some lap traffic, and felt really bad because I had no one else to drive with for the rest of the race.
Does it take a different...
I also killed him.
Does it
Sorry.
take... No, you're good. I was just going to ask you, does it take a different mindset to drive an open-wheel car around a place like Summit Point versus a tin top, or just the same thing and just got to watch the fenders a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm still like really generous around about giving people room, so it wasn't too different for me. I'm sure the people that race a lot closer than I do notice a much bigger difference.
All right, Kevin. Hey, nice job. Some nice runs tonight for you, and hopefully we'll see you around. Congrats. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Move on now to Larry Lefty McLeod. Some great runs for you tonight, Larry. Battling up at the front in race 1 and in race 2. Kind of got the left leader slip away a bit in race number 2, but just walk us through your fights tonight with Richard Spicer.
Yeah, so race 1 was interesting. Obviously, with the damage happening out in front of us, I just followed Kyle Herbst down the inside of 1, and we just took off. We were doing our thing, and I'm watching the relative screen behind me, and I can see Richard catching us. So he had some serious pace in the first race. He gets by both of us. So queuing up the second race, I knew that it was going to be tough to stay with him. The clean start, I just want to say he did an awesome job. He just basically turned the last corner and just took off, which helped us all kind of spread out down the front straight instead of staying bunched up. It actually kind of worked. But as we got going in the race, he didn't seem to have the same pace, which helped me stay with him. And when Ken first got by and then DJ came roaring up, I thought maybe Richard and I would try to work together a little bit and try to stay with those guys, but it seemed Richard wanted to be a little bit more racy. So we were passing each other through, I guess it's 3 a couple of times. And I could tell he was trying to be a little racy. So we got 3-4 seconds down. It was like, all right, well, all bets are off. Let's just go for this. And then when DJ and Ken had their thing and backed up to us, I thought, well, once again, maybe we'll try to work together. Again, we didn't. So when we got around to the last lap, he again got me through 3, but I stayed with him to where, as we come up to the last turn, I knew that I was quicker through there. I'd been quicker through there the whole race, and I thought if I can get a setup, I didn't realize how poorly he had taken the previous sequence. So I just thought, well, let me try and take him on the outside, managed to make it stick, and just held him off through the finish.
How much of racing the Skip Barber car is it a trust exercise when you're racing so close with so many different drivers?
Oh, totally. You've got to trust how much slip angle you can throw in as the race progresses, because early with the cold tires, it's just a complete skating rink out there. And as it goes on, you have to know how much better it's going to get, and you have to build that trust with it. So practice with this car. The way this thing builds heat is really it's something you have to learn. If you try to come into, just qualify completely cold, it's extremely difficult to then think you're just going to jump into the race. You've got to trust yourself. You got to trust the people around you. It's very difficult. Not surprised. There's been a lot of incidents in the first race and even a few in the second race. I suspect as the season goes on, people are going to get used to this car a little bit, and I think the racing will clean up a little.
All right, Larry, some solid runs for you. We'll look forward to seeing you around. Thanks for talking.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Absolutely. Moving on now to, speaking of trust exercises, Ken and DJ ran side by side. 10 lead changes in 15 laps. Ken, walk us through that fight with you and DJ and how much of that was kind of premeditated and where you wanted to place the car, and how much of that was genuine racing, DJ, for the lead.
I mean, a lot of that was mostly just sort of driving around. We were working together to try to build a gap on Richard and Lefty behind us. It was like, we know if they were close, then we would have had a lot harder fight. And just work together for a little while and drive around. And that was the move I made in the last corner. I had that all planned out, practiced it in practice and everything. It just didn't quite work tonight, but lots of fun as usual.
DJ, you and Ken battled for a bunch of laps. I want to ask you the same question. When you get down to like the last couple laps, what lap is it for you where business starts? Is it the white flag? Is it with 2 corners left? Is it with 5 to go? When is it business, and when do you start defending and throwing passes that are meant to stick?
Well, Kyle, a lot of that has to do with where the people behind me are. If they're right there and you're not trying to maintain a gap, then the swords are out kind of immediately. Probably about 3-5 minutes to go, just because you don't want to be the guy in second place who gets bottled up with the people behind. I always like to be in first because I only have to worry about one guy. It's the guy directly behind me, and in our scenario, we had quite a good gap. So really it was game on with like 2 laps to go, just because that's the size of the gap that we had, where we could, we could afford 2 laps of play basically. So yeah, it was good fun. Ken did a great job of avoiding me. In the turn 11, we had kind of a miscommunication with the lap car and a huge stack up that cost us about probably like 2 seconds. So that got rid of a lot of the fun. The fun was about to start that lap, but we had to work together a little bit more.
So, talk to us about race number 1, because obviously that didn't go the way you wanted. You got down into turn number 1, and what'd you see and what'd you hear?
In race 1?
Yep.
I saw nothing, and then I saw a car flying into my windshield, and then I saw a bunch of dirt, and then I had a really fun race, just slicing and dicing through everybody, just working my way up to the front and giving myself a fighting chance for race 2.
All right, TJ, congratulations on your race win. We look forward to seeing you around next week. Congrats. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
Absolutely. And so that'll complete the interviews here tonight, Finian. So what a race. I mean, again, the new damage model, the kind of big wild card tonight, seeing how that affected everything. It certainly kind of brings the attrition level up a little bit. But what these cars race so spectacularly. I'm so excited for this season. And a great schedule that we've got coming up as well. If you want to check out the schedule, make sure to head to WDCR SCCA.org if you want to check out both the iRacing League schedule, how to join up, how to sign up, as well as for real-life events, because the racing season is not too far around the corner with the Daytona 24 coming up. And, of course, the SCCA's events kind of running autocross and that sort of thing throughout the season. So lots going on, but your thoughts on our first round of the season?
Yeah, awesome stuff at Summit Point, some really good racing. It was definitely interesting to see really two groups of drivers fight at the front of the field in race 2, just seeing how both of them went around about their race. And these guys pretty much throughout the field put on a heck of a show.
That's going to do it for us tonight, and I have to take a moment to check out where we're heading next week, because I don't know off the top of my head. But after a very exciting round number 1, next week we're going to be heading to, well, it'll be 2 weeks from now. Nope, wrong schedule. WDCR. It will be next week. It will be Lime Rock Park. It will be the new Lime Rock Park with the updated curbing and that sort of thing. And then it'll be the next week after that will be Daytona, which will be with the Daytona prototype, the GT and GT3 cars, kind of a mini 2.4. Then Watkins Glen on the 12th of February. Then Road Atlanta the week after. Then Mid-Ohio with the GT3 or GT4 cars. I think it'll just be GT3. And then Charlotte Roval and New Jersey Motorsports Park to round out the season. So if you want to join in, you certainly can. WDCR-SCCA.org to find out more information. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kyle Heyer with Finney DeCuna from Sim TV. We'll see you next week.